So today is going to be my review video on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy palette. I have said that I'm going to do this a bajillion times, but every time I sit down to do it, I either have a hair on my lip, I either run out of time, or I just completely forget to film it, just to be honest. But I am doing it today, and if you would like to see my thoughts and full review on this palette, then please keep on watching. So I did also do a first impressions on this palette. If you would like to check that out, I will try to remember to link that down below. If not, go check it out. I do kind of a crazy look with this palette, just trying to use every eyeshadow in the whole palette, just to see what I think. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the full review on this palette. So just now, while I was online looking for the price of this palette, I realized that it was limited edition and is no longer available. My bad. I believe it was $29. There are two other palettes available from Anastasia Beverly Hills. One is called the Mia Mia palette, and it does seem to have very similar colors. It's just that you are not going to get this green or this purple in that palette. And then there is the Tamana palette, which again seems to be very similar in colors, but you are just not going to get these same two bright shades, or jewel tone shades, rather. Those are both $29. I believe this was $29. I'm sure you could still get your hands on this if you looked hard enough. Maybe not for the $29, but if you wanted it bad enough, you could still probably get your hands on it. I'm still going to continue on with this review because I think this is an awesome palette, and I think that the other two palettes that are out there are probably going to be very similar in quality because they look almost exactly the same packaging-wise and everything. So anyway, we'll start off with packaging. I really like this packaging. It is just cardboard packaging, but it feels very sturdy. It's very slim, and as you can see, the palette itself is quite small. It's just a little bit larger than my hand. It is a magnetic closure, and it is quite a strong magnet. Like, this is not going to fall out or anything like that, so I do like that. It is cardboard again, so if you are wanting to use this mirror that comes in it, you're going to have to hold it, which is not something that really bothers me. I know that does kind of turn people off, but that's not something that bothers me. However, what does bother me is that this is like a funhouse mirror. It works and it's functional. However, when you're looking at yourself, if you've ever been to like one of those house of mirrors where they've got all like the funky mirrors that make like you longer or shorter, you know, or wider or like really thin looking, this mirror is very much like this. So for me, the only downfall to the packaging of this palette is the mirror. It's just kind of wonky, and if you're trying to like check symmetry of your eye makeup, it doesn't work because like this eye is like up in the air and this one's at regular level, and it just isn't gonna work. But if you have it up close and you're just like doing your eye makeup regularly, it works just fine. It's just, I very often hold my mirror out here to check and make sure everything is symmetrical, and I have to pull out another mirror to do that. That's the only thing that bothers me. Otherwise, I really like the packaging of this palette. I like the colors. The taupe and red and black leopard print, I really like that. And it's just very beautiful and sleek looking. The eyeshadows themselves, I think, are very good as well. On this row here, which would actually be the top row, you have all kind of like shimmer shades. None of them have glitter in them. They are just all what seem to be, I want to say satin, but they don't look matte on the lid. They definitely have some shine and some shimmer to them when they are on the lid, but they are not glittery. Then in this bottom row, these four here are completely matte. This one here called Vanilla is the only one that I would say is more of a satin matte, because when you look at it in the pan, it does have some shine to it. However, I really like it to highlight my inner corner and my brow bone. I think it really opens up those areas of the eye and really brightens those areas of the eye. And it's perfect for that. So really quickly, I'm going to swatch the top row for you. So this first one here is called Legend, and that is what it looks like there. This is a very light gold. I wouldn't say champagne. It is definitely a gold color. And that is what it looks like there. That's not over any kind of primer or anything. That is just on bare skin. And then you have the shade next to it, which is called Glisten. And this is kind of a pinky, salmony color. And then here it is here on the back of my hand. It comes off a little bit more copper on camera, but in person it definitely has a pink quality to the tone of it. The next one is called Topaz. This is one of my favorite colors in this palette. This is kind of a bronzy taupe color. And I really like it. That is it there. It looks, again, a little bit more golden on camera, but in person it is definitely more taupey. But all of these colors are very warm toned, if you can't tell by looking at it. Then you have the next color, which is Iridescent Purple. And that's what it looks like there. These bright colors are the only ones that I kind of find to be a little lacking in pigmentation. The rest of them seem to have really good pigmentation, but when you get to these very bright ones, they're the same consistency eyeshadow and everything. It's just, it seems like the pigmentation isn't quite there. Then next to the purple you have Emerald, which I used in my first impression. And this one, you can kind of tell a little bit more. That is the color there. It's a very pretty, deep emerald green, and I really, really like it. Wipe those off so I can do the next row. Then, going to the bottom row, you have Vanilla, which is pretty much a white. It's a little bit more, I would say, on the cream side of white. But it is definitely a very white, bright shade. And you can kind of see that it has a little bit of an iridescence to it. And so that's why I say that it's not quite a matte, but more of a satin matte, where it does have a little bit of shine and iridescence to it. Then the next color is probably my most used color in the palette. I did use it in my crease today, and it is called Caramel. I almost said camel, and that would be wrong. And it is just a very warm toned, kind of orangey red brown, and it's a very good transition color. Excuse me. I think, and I really, really like it. I use it in almost every look that I do. And then Morocco, which is probably my second most used color in this palette, is in the same color family, just a little bit more red in tone than Caramel is, and I really, really like that one as well. Then next you have Deep Plum, which is one of my favorite shades in this. I used it to smoke out my lash line today. And these matte shades are the same consistency as the shimmery ones, which is very nice, and I really enjoy them. And then in here you also have a matte black called LBD, or Little Black Dress. That is what it looks like there. And it is quite pigmented. It's definitely a black. It's not a charcoal by any means. So those are all of the colors in the palette. As I said, I really like the shade Topaz, Caramel, Morocco, Deep Plum, and Vanilla. But I really do like all of the shades in here. Even these two jewel tone shades that are a little bit lacking in the pigmentation compared to the other 8 eyeshadows in this palette are still good quality and still very beautiful colors. These matte shades here are also crazy easy to blend. I don't think I have ever used matte shades aside from Urban Decay that blend so beautifully and so easily with each other. And if you know, Urban Decay's eyeshadows are never really truly completely matte. There are a couple of them, but most of them are that satin matte finish, which helps make them blend a little bit easier in my opinion. But these are completely matte, and I feel like they blend just as well as those Urban Decay eyeshadows, and they're beautiful colors. They're beautiful warm tones that are perfect for fall, number one. Oh, excuse me, I'm still getting over being sick, if you can't tell. And then the top row of the more shiny shades also blend beautifully, and I think they are great. And I think I am going to check out the other two palettes, the Maya Mia and the Tamana palette as well, and I'm going to maybe stop in at Ulta today and see if those are there, because I do have a $8 credit at Ulta. So I do really like this, and I hope the other palettes like this are good. Another thing that this palette comes with is a brush, and it is a very little dual-ended brush. On one end, you've got like a stiff, flat shader brush, and on the other end, you have a very pointed kind of pencil, more of a crease brush. I do use this brush quite a bit. For me, it's like the perfect size to get in there around the inner corner and just up under the brow bone. And I really like to smoke out the lower lash line and the top lash line with the other end of the brush. I think it's very good quality, and I really enjoy using this brush. Actually, I didn't think I would enjoy using this as much as I do. So yeah, that is the palette overall, and yeah. So as you can tell, I really like this palette, and I am very sorry that this was limited edition. I really wish more people could get their hands on this, because it is such a great neutral basics palette, but then you have these two fun colors, which would make this great to travel with. But from this review, myself, I would go check out the other two palettes that are available. They're probably available at Ulta for the $29, or you can order them from AnastasiaBeverlyHills.com. So yeah, definitely go check out the other palettes that are available, since this one is no longer available. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!